The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banks Bet. Get up to £500 refunded as real money for new Jeff Banks online accounts after your first month of betting. Use promo code FFP500 at jeffbanks.bet.
Welcome back to the show. One of our favourite guests is alongside us after hanging up his saddle after a glorious career. I can easily say that, by the way. That's not obsequious behaviour by any stretch of the imagination. You walk around the weighing rooms of the United Kingdom and Ireland and find me a jockey with 31 Grade 1 wins on their CV. You'll find very few that achieved what Daryl Jacob did. Daryl, welcome back to the show.
Oh, thank you very much, Emmet. Yeah, great to have me back. Thank you very much.
Thank you for taking the time to join us. I know you're incredibly busy, which kind of leads into the first question. The decision to retire from the adrenaline-fueled life of being a jockey, how are you adjusting to that?
Yeah, no, really well, actually. To be fair, look at the injuries. I suppose I've had plenty of time to get used to it in the last year with my shoulder problems and stuff like that. So I hadn't kind of been back for very long, and then I broke it again in another operation. But look at it. I've had a wonderful career, and it's only really when you hang up your boots that you realise and you look back, because as a jockey you're always looking forward, and looking back at my career, you know, I'm very, very proud of it, and I've ridden some wonderful horses and for some wonderful people. But you know, as Sally Allner always said, you know, one door closes and another door opens, and you know, I'm turning over the page now and I'm starting a new chapter.
We're recording this a week after the injury for Michael O'Sullivan, which we're still waiting for an update on him, and obviously our prayers and thoughts are with him and his family for that matter as well. But I mention that because that's a just stark reminder of how cruel this game can be. It's a wonderful sport. It's my favourite sport. There's hundreds of thousands, millions of people who love it. And you can forget just how dangerous it is. The fact that you managed to walk away from it on your own terms must be something you really count your blessings about.
Yeah, look at it's a tough sport. It's a brutal sport at time, and you know, we don't need it. I lost one of my best many years ago, 2003, whenever I came over here. So I just know how tough it is, and you know, we're the only sport in the world that has 3 ambulances following us around at any one time, and that's just, you know, that just tells you how serious this sport is and how dangerous it is. And with Mikey, he's a lovely man, and my thoughts and my prayers, and from everyone in England, our thoughts and prayers with him and his family, because I can't imagine what they're going through at this time. It must be, you know, it's horrible, absolutely horrible. And I'm good friends with Mikey O'Sullivan. You know, I seen him over the Dublin over at Christmas time, and he was asking me for advice, and I was giving him some advice about the future. You know, and then when I heard the news last week of his fall, it's scary.
Incredibly. I think the Starlink might have accidentally cut out. You were talking about Kieran Kelly, first of all, God rest him, who I didn't realise he had such an impact in your life until I read that interview in the Racing Post a couple of weeks ago. He was a superb talent, and his ride on Hardy Eustace in the Novice Hurdle at Cheltenham was a thing of beauty.
Yeah, look, sure, he was an exceptional rider. He was destined to, and you know, he'd even ridden for Martin Pipe in the Grand National the previous year. So that just goes to show where his talents were and how much he was thought of. So yeah, look at it. I just hope and pray to God that Mikey O'Sullivan, he comes out with this.
Well said. And we echo those sentiments as well, of course, on the show. So when you cross the line on Impere Pass in the Grade 1 Faugheen Novice Chase, is that your mind made up right there and then? Cheerio. That
was the confirmation that I needed. I thought, look, if I'm being honest with you, my plan was all along was to go to Punchestown at the end of the season. That was where I wanted to go, and that's where I wanted to retire. But well, you know, with the injuries that I had, I was struggling a little bit, and you know, unfortunately, the real first sign that I thought I'm not sure is when I unfortunately injured one of Simon and Isaac's horses. It's for me in the Novice Chase at Leopardstown the day before, and that really upset me, and that triggered something in my brain that I love my horses, and I didn't want to see any of them getting injured anymore, and especially with me riding them. And it was then actually that really started dawning on me that I think my time is coming to an end, and I always wanted to go out on a Grade 1 or try and go out in a Grade 1, if not a Grade 1 race, but a Grade 1 meeting. And for whatever reason, I just couldn't get over the thoughts of it's for me, what happened to me the day before. And I wanted to wait until I crossed the line before I really decided. And whenever I crossed that line on Impair and Mass, I knew straight away that was the last time I was going to come into the winners' enclosures.
But that's not your fault. I mean, that's just one of the awful side effects of horse racing. They're incredibly powerful animals. They can kill you, and they have killed people. But they're also very fragile. The same as us humans. We're strong, but we're also very brittle and fragile. It was just one of those things. But I think that the fact that you're saying that really does resonate in the sense that it's not just that you're going out there cold, riding whatever, getting your percentage, which is pathetically low, by the way, and getting the retaining fee. That these horses matter to you, and they leave an impact on you.
Look at sure that racehorses. They've been my life since I was a kid, and they're like my best friends. So, any animal or any horse that I've ended up hurting or unfortunately has had to be put to sleep because of when I've been riding them, it's every one of them. It hurts. Of course it does. And but this one really, I don't know whether it's I getting old or what, but this one really, really hurt, and I didn't like it. And it was the fact that it was one of Simon and Isaac's horses who've been wonderful supporters to me, have been like big brothers to me as well as my bosses. It really, like you say, it really, really hurt me, and I just couldn't get it out of my head.
Well, does that? I'll never know what the adrenaline rush is like for a jockey walking out into the cauldron of Cheltenham, where there's tens of thousands of people cheering you on, and millions of people, not only in the UK and Ireland but around the world, watching and betting on you. I can only imagine that adrenaline rush is quite something. It's probably the same at Punchestown. You've just won on a horse that's going to be a competitor at those meetings. Paul Townend is almost certainly going to ride Ballyburn, which means you're probably going to ride in Perry Pass. And yet there's still a thing that's calling at you saying, even though that's a compelling, addictive thing to be part of, stop. Just stop now.
It's funny because I've been speaking to jockeys more so in the last 6 months, retired jockeys that have retired, and the majority of them have said to me, you'll wake up one morning and that'll be it. There'll be something that will just switch in your mind. It'll say, that's it, I've had enough. And I was like, no chance. How can that happen? And they said it will. And I was like, no chance. I've got this day in my mind. I want to retire. That's when I want to retire. And funny enough, I thought if there was a day that was ever going to happen to me, it was going to be a day that I was going to wake up and I had to lose 4 or 5 pounds, because I was quite tall, I was quite big, I was quite heavy as a jockey. And I actually thought if that was going to be the case, it was going to be because I just couldn't lose 3 or 4 pounds that particular day to go racing. And I thought if that was the reason, that's it. But I never thought in a million years it would have been the fact that unfortunately I injured a horse, and that was really what triggered something in my brain to send them signals to me to, right, that's it, you've had enough.
And the injuries that you had, I vividly remember you being thrown through the rail at Cheltenham on the Chris Giles horse or the Sullivan horse. I mean, I thought you were a goner. That's a bloody brutal one to come back from. The injury you just came back from ahead of this season wasn't a pretty one either. I was speaking to you a couple of years ago about an injury you were recovering from as well for TalkSport. It just seemed like any time you were taking a fall, you were at risk of doing serious damage to yourself.
Yeah, but look at I've been very lucky. Yeah, look at I've had some bad falls, I've had some bad breaks and stuff like that. But it's no different to any other jockey out there. I mean, a lot of guys have been a lot worse than me. Some people have been lucky; they haven't had as bad as injuries. But sure, look at that's the nature of the game. We are, at the end of the day, we are galloping animals that are a half a ton in weight over obstacles at 30 mile an hour, sometimes 30, 38, 39 mile an hour. If you hit the floor, you're going to break, you're going to get injured. So look, that's the risk. We go out there every day, and that's the risk that, but then we love it. And that's the adrenaline of it, the buzz of it, the excitement of it. It's what we've lived for. And I've never thought about going out there and riding a horse and thinking, oh no, I'm going to get hurt off him. The horses don't want to fall, or they don't plan on falling. It just, unfortunately, it just happens sometimes.
Yeah, and it's not like a Formula One car. I just saw the trailer for the new F1 movie with Brad Pitt, and there's a racing connection there with Kerry Condon starring in it as well. And you can just think about, if you've got the best engine, the best engineering, you're probably going to win if you've got the best driver. But you can have the best jockey, the best trainer, and the best horse, and that doesn't mean that the horse is going to win, because horses have a mind of their own and they can't tell you when something's wrong. Does that add to the adrenaline rush of racing, that you're never really quite sure, no matter how good a horse is, how they're going to perform on any given day?
Exactly, they're not robots. They're not machines. So that at the end of the day, they are live animals. And like you say, me and you, we've plenty of days we've got out of bed on the wrong side of the bed and we haven't felt like going to work. So I'm pretty sure it's the same with racehorses as well.
Yeah, racehorse can't call in sick.
No, they're due to go racing that day. They've got to go racing whether they like it or not.
Yeah, and they can't get somebody to cover for them either. It's like, lad, you take this one for me today, will you? Thanks very much.
No.
7,000 rides, over 1,000 winners, 31 Grade 1 wins, France, the UK and Ireland spread across the three. Like, I mean that. If you were to go into any weighing room in Ireland or the UK, find me a jockey that's got that. Obviously, there are some very high profile ones, but it is a remarkable career to look back on. If there was one specific day that you could relive again, what would it be?
Oh, sure, look at I love the Grand National winner on Neptune Collonges, and I just seen Neptune Collonges yesterday at 24 years of age. He looks absolutely brilliant, and that was a race that I've always wanted to be involved in, and to win the Grand National was very, very special. Winning the French champion hurdle on Lamy Serge, he was a quirky horse, was probably my finest ride I've ever given a horse. So look at that. I've had so many great days. I've ridden so many wonderful horses throughout my career. And like you say, to have over 1,000 winners, 31 Grade 1s, the Grand National, Grade 1s in England, Ireland and France. There's so many of them wonderful horses that, and not even the Grade 1s, even the Hennessy, like winning the Hennessy in England on Diamond Harry, doing 10 stone on him. They're all iconic races, and they've got an awful lot to them. And all of them big races that I was involved in, I loved every minute of it. And yeah, like you say, I've had some great days.
Can I ask you about a race that lives long in my memory, and I suspect lives long in the vast majority of racing fans' memories?
You're going to pull out something now that I got beaten on there. Wait, here we go.
But probably doesn't live long probably does live long in your memory, but for the wrong reasons. Beef Or Salmon's 10th Grade 1 win.
Yeah, the listener.
Yeah.
Go on, hit me with it.
So, I vividly remember that race. And I remember actually watching it in this room. I was home from Cork, and there was some friends of mine who were here, and we'd all backed Beef Or Salmon, so we were all going bananas. And obviously that's why it lives so long in the memory. But also he was a legendary racehorse. But I was thinking about this today. The stand just came alive. Everybody's going bananas about the fact that, he's 11 and he's won again, and it's his 3rd Irish Gold Cup and he's 10th Grade 1 win. What a hero. But you had that race won. It was over. It's just a matter of giving you the trophy, and somehow Andy Mack and Beef Or Salmon come flying down the outside. So as everyone's going bananas about this legend, how did you feel in that moment?
Look, I was young. I was a £5 claimer at the time, and I won the Lexus on him the time beforehand. And look, as a young jockey, the owner put me under an awful lot of pressure. I rode to the owner's instructions and not to my own instructions. And funny enough, that was the reason why I got beaten. The owner wanted me to go faster. He wanted me to make the horse look more impressive than what he was in the Lexus. And look, at the end of the day, I went a little bit too hard from the second last to the last, and ended up getting tired.
But you would bounce back with another Grade 1 win in that race a year later.
Yeah, look at it. Just again, probably a little bit a year older, a year wiser, and I kind of went on to trust my instinct and ride the race that I wanted to ride myself. But there was a lot of pressure back there. It was my first big horse, my first Grade 1 horse that I was riding, and to a certain degree, I was a claimer. I had to ride to the owner's instructions because I didn't want to get jocked off him, and in the end, I did get jocked off him. So I probably should have done my own thing anyway. But yeah, look at a year older, a year wiser. You go back and look at you learn. You don't learn from winners. You learn from defeat, and I learned from that defeat. Yeah,
well, you obviously did, because you went on to be the number 2 jockey for Paul Nicholls, the number 1 jockey for Paul Nicholls, and then the number 1 jockey for 2 of the most powerful owners in British racing for over 10 years, if I remember correctly. I think it was 2014 you joined Sam Munir and Isaac Swade, and then you're there 10 years later, and your final Grade 1 win is for them. And as I said, the 31 Grade 1 wins is just insane when you think about it. But it is like we talk about the weighing room and the camaraderie of the weighing room and everybody gets on so well. There's agents involved, and those agents have to do their job, which is try and get a jockey jocked off and get their jockey jocked on, and that goes on. So how difficult is that to deal with? I imagine as a younger jockey it's pretty brutal, but the older you get, maybe the more wiser you get along with it.
Yeah, of course it is. Look at it. At the end of the day, we're all self-employed, aren't we? We're all out there to try and make a living for ourselves, and we're all out there trying to get on the best horses in the best races every day of the week. And yeah, we have an agent there to help us do that. Look at, I got the ride on the Listener because the owner wanted to change a jockey from Andrew Thornton, and then I ended up getting taken off the Listener for Andrew McNamara. It swings around about, and it goes on a daily basis. But you win some, you lose some. It's just how you from it.
100%. You've done some great work for Racing TV already. I'm sure you're going to do an awful lot more work in punditry. Is that one of the things you want to focus on, or is the world of bloodstock something that's really calling to you?
No, I definitely love the television. I love the media side of it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to working with all the team at Racing TV throughout the rest of this season and next winter. So that's something that I'm really, really looking forward to. I'm learning every day I go in there at the moment. All of this thing is all new to me. It's all a learning curve for me, and I enjoy it. I love the media side of it. Obviously representing Simon, Isaac and Anthony whenever they've got runners, and when I'm needed there. And the Jockey Club have been very good. I've been done plenty of work for the Jockey Club and also Sky Bet as well as an ambassador for them. So things are looking good. I'm very, very busy, which is great. I love keeping busy. I love going to work, and any work that I can get, I'm very, very grateful of it.
Well, any of this stuff I've seen you do for Sky Bet or for Racing TV for that matter, where you're breaking down a race, your analysis, your explanation of how a race was run, how it was won, and indeed how it will be run and how it will be won, has been excellent. And it's not always easy to translate the information that you have as a jockey and succinctly put that across to an audience, but you do that very, very well.
Oh, thank you. Hey, maybe I might get a job at TalkSport.
You never know. There's been plenty of positions here and there. So yeah, I know we're all going to be very busy during the Cheltenham Festival. So
I'm enjoying life at the moment. Look, things are great at the moment. I'm very, very happy with the decision I've made. Like I say, I've closed one chapter now, and I've turned over the page, and I'm starting a new chapter. And this second chapter, or this second phase of my life or second career of my life, I'm really looking forward to it. I love getting my teeth stuck into these new projects and learning again, and that's what I have to do. I have to go out there and I have to learn a different trade and how to conduct myself and just keep learning, and that's what I want to do.
Well, hopefully we'll be talking to you before Cheltenham. Hopefully we'll be talking to you on TalkSport during the 4 days of the Cheltenham Festival, for that matter, as well, and other media formats too. It would be remiss of me not to ask you. Say again?
TV with you, will I?
You never know. Who knows? Tell you what, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. You bring me in, I'll bring you in. Done. Happy days.
Perfect. We've nailed this one. We've nailed this one.
Got the whole thing wrapped up. It's an easy game. Couple of horses to ask you about before we wrap up. Imperi Pass, taken out of the Arkle. A little bit underwhelming behind Ballyburn the other day, but that couldn't have been his true running, surely.
No, definitely not. No, he's much, much better than that. He was disappointing there. Don't know whether it was the ground or what, but he was very disappointing there. And I don't know, he's going to run. He's had a little bit of a break there. I'm not 100% sure he's going to go to Cheltenham. I think we'll find a different engagement for him there.
Fairyhouse, maybe?
Fairyhouse is a strong possibility. Going to Aintree, very fresh for the Melling Chase is obviously considered as well. But I think we'll be avoiding Cheltenham, and we'll be going somewhere really fresh and on better ground, and get back in him that he lost at Leopardstown the last day.
What was your take on Ballyburn, and do you think he'll stay the 3 miles?
Oh, absolutely. No, Ballyburn's serious horse. I was reading reports that he's not as good over fences as he. I disagree with that. I think actually he's as good over fences, and I think the way that he's been ridden and the way Paul and Willie's are doing, I think he was obviously a very exuberant horse over hurdles, and I just think Paul Townend's body language is all he's wanting from to do is to relax and settle and pop that like the last day at Leopardstown, he only asked him the whole way around the whole race. He only asked him for one big jump, and that was 3 out, and he got it. And all the rest of the jumps, all he's asked him to do is just to go in and pop, pop, pop. And I think they're actually teaching this horse to be a stayer, which he's got the pedigree to be a strong stayer. So I think he's hugely exciting over fences.
I think he's just a class act of the field, and he'll blow them to bits. It's just my very simple reading of it.
He looks very, very good at the moment. But then again, Willie's powerhouse, they all look very good at the moment, don't they?
Yeah, well, which one of the Willie Mullins horses is going to win the Brown Advisory, with a couple of Gordon Elliott interesting outsiders in there as well. Jasmine DeVoe, jumping has not been his friend so far, but maybe the Albert Bartlett with the different hurdle configuration on the new course might help him.
Yeah, but again, he's only got a rating. I think he's only got a rating of 132, so that sort of standard. I think the track at Cheltenham will definitely obviously suit him an awful lot better. I was happy enough for his jumping. Bar one jump with JJ the last time, I thought he jumped an awful lot slicker and an awful lot better with the cheek pieces on him. Look, with that sort of a rating, you're probably better off just getting a little bit more and then maybe go down the handicap route, and hopefully his class will win the handicaps, and then he'll bring himself up to that sort of standard or that sort of grade. But look, I wouldn't be writing him off yet.
Yeah, but also not exactly a ringing endorsement for his prospects in the potato race either, for that matter. Matata was disappointing at the weekend in the absence of Sergino, but again, that couldn't have really been his true running. We don't have much experience of Windsor. Do you think that there's a possibility it's a speed favouring track? If you get a loose on the front end, you're just going to be hard to peg back?
Yeah, look, you see Protectorat down there as well the same day. It suits that type of horse there. There's, unfortunately, the configuration of the track, I think it would have been better off kept as a figure of 8. Whenever you go down the back straight and you jump the last down the back straight, you have 3.5 furlongs just to sit up and just get a fill into your horse and then just cruise around that bend. And if horses are in the field and then you get first run on them, you quicken and you stay, you're going to be very, very difficult to peg back. The ratings have said that Matata's improved 150, basically 10 pounds, I think, this year. I don't think he's improved 10 pounds. I just think Windsor was the track that kind of led to believe that he was a champion chase horse. And look at it, I think he was a little bit flat the other day because he put so much into every race that he runs in, and especially at home as well. I think probably we came back a little bit too soon with him, but again, his chances of going to Cheltenham, I think we'd probably miss Cheltenham, and we may even step him up to 2.5 before the end of the season and see how he gets on over 2.5.
Okay, because it's interesting you say that, because Peter Michael was saying on the show last week before he ran, he's the worst handicapped horse in training, and there's no way he should be the rating he is. And then it's interesting that you're echoing that. I also remember you saying at the start of the season, of all the horses to look forward to, he was one of the horses you were most looking forward to riding, that you were expecting improvement. You got it, but it was only going to take him so far.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think everyone got carried away at Windsor, what he did at Windsor, and I don't think he's a really rated horse.
Okay, there's a whole load of young horses I could ask you about. We'd be here all day if I did, so I'll ask you about one last horse, and this is the horse that you were most excited about. And I believe you said, I'm paraphrasing, but it was something on the lines of, I cannot wait to ride this horse at Aintree. Intense Raffles.
Yeah, very much. He just obviously was up the Grand National weights yesterday, 10 stone 10. Really good racing weight for him. He runs in the Bobby Joe Chase next Saturday week at Fairy House. But by the sounds of what I'm reading, nearly everyone's going for that race next Saturday. So that'll be a good indicator of where we are with him. I think he's had 2 slightly underwhelming performances over hurdles this year. I'm just hoping the chase is bringing back to give him a little bit more spark, bring him back to Fairy House, where he's 3 from 3 last year. And look at JJ, worked him there this morning, and JJ is very, very happy with him. So look, at all roads lead to Fairy House Saturday week, and then please God on to the Grand National.
2 nice prep runs over hurdles. Irish Grand National winner in the Grand National a year later. I Am Maximus last year. This fella this year. How far does he win the Grand National by?
Oh, look, it'd be great if he did. But I was looking at that Grand National yesterday up at the Aintree weights, and I tell you, it's a cracking race, mind. There's some really, really good horses in the race, and I Am Maximum, like, top weight. There's so many wonderful horses. And I think actually this year is probably the strongest race we've had for many years in the Grand National. So I think race, if they all stand their ground, and it's going to be a very, very good race, and there's going to be a good winner of it, whoever wins it.
Well, Daryl, I thought I'd picked out the winner a couple of weeks ago, aside from Intel's Raffles, obviously. His Big Danger, we'll say. I thought I'd worked out, this I know the way you're thinking. No one's going to have spotted it. Everybody bloody well spotted it. David Jennings has a piece in the Racing Post today saying how he'll be sub 5-1. Take the money now.
Yeah.
If he lines up, he'll be a big threat.
That was the horse they were all talking about yesterday up there. So look at him. I mean, I would imagine he will probably go off favourite because he's had a couple of really nice runs this year. He winning the Grade 1 at Aintree. Was it Aintree last year? He won the Grade 1. And look at it's going to be. I promise you, it's going to be a cracking race this year. If they all stand their ground, I think it's going to be probably the best Grand National we've had for many, many years.
Yeah, certainly the most high quality one for sure.
It is. Yeah,
we can debate the merits of all of the changes that have been made, but what do you want? Do you want a high quality Grand National, or do you want a Grand National that's wide open and competitive that a 66-1 shot can win, or do you want the best horses running in it? That's
and look, I think with the way the whole race has changed now, the line they're basically they're normal fences now with just look a different colour. So you want quality horses running it now rather than anything else, don't you?
One horse that if you could come out of retirement for him, Tony McCoy said last week if he was still riding, he'd still be champion. I'm not so sure with these new whip rules, Tony. I think he'd be on the sidelines every single week. Another ban for McCoy. But hey, we can all live and dream. And he was a brilliant jockey, by the way. But that was a great quote. If you could come out of retirement to ride any of Isaac Sweet and Sam Munir's horses, or anything for Willie, who would it be?
Galloping the Champ to win three Gold Cups.
It's going to be some story for the Jockey Club. The 100th running of the Gold Cup. The 5th horse in history only to win 3 Gold Cups. Bring Simon Holt back for the commentary. It's going to be epic. Daryl, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully we're talking to you again soon on Talk Sport, seeing you on Racing TV, and hopefully seeing you in a racecourse soon as well. I really appreciate your time today.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Daryl Jacob. If you like this episode, likes and shares are much appreciated. We will talk to you again very, very soon. Look after yourself and each other. God bless.
The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banks Bet. Get up to £500 refunded as real money for new Jeff Banks online accounts after your first month of betting. Use promo code FFP500 at jeffbanks.bet.